But he said earlier in the year, when fans were chanting Kenny, Kenny, Kenny at games, that he loved that he loves the passion from fans. So fans don't like seeing a player do that while the team is winning. Okay. I mean, I don't think that that's the worst. Look, I have not seen fans say, oh, this is AB all over again. Oh, this guy's a malcontent. Oh, this guy's a distraction. I haven't seen any of that.
I've seen a little bit of that.
So I'm not really sure what's that?
I've seen a little bit of that on there. But again, that's the conclusion. That's a wrong conclusion based on this kid. He may not know how to channel his emotions, and maybe he's yelling because he's frustrated. That's all fine. And guess what? If the camera hadn't caught that moment, then what? We don't even talk about this.
Well, you know, I was frankly, and I think the Steelers media, by and large, I think they do a really good job. So I don't say this as a way of just hammering them and just going on the offensive. But, you know, one of the reasons why people were upset with they weren't upset at Pickens, but one of the reasons people defended or stuck up for Pickens was they felt like his complaints were justified. Like, look at what Deontay Johnson is doing. Why is he getting the targets instead of George Pickens? And I was disappointed that no media member today asked Tomlin about Johnson's struggles. You're up there for 30 minutes. You get 15 minutes of questions. I'm just surprised no one said, Mike, 2 false start penalties, drops, a play that could have easily been a fumble. What's going on with your $18 million a year wide receiver right now?
Yeah, I think that's a valid complaint at this point. I also think, taking a look at some of the tape we had available to us in the All-22, George Pickens was getting a lot of respect out there from Atlanta. They had safeties following him around, and they chose not to put their top corner on him, but they also chose to have people over the top because I think they respected his speed. Anyway, let's go back to the lines. Chris in Warrendale. Hey, Chris, what's going on?
Hey, Chris.
Andrew, you literally stole my thunder. For crying out loud. I was just going to talk about why and what do the Steelers, we're all talking about George Pickens, but what do they love about Deontay Johnson? He runs the wrong way. He's dropped critical passes at critical times in games, commits penalties. But here's the most important part I don't think we talk about. He doesn't fit the physical mold of this team. He runs out of bounds at every opportunity. He just falls down right at receivers. Look at Pat Fryermuth run right past people. Look at Najee Harris battle for extra yards. And by the way, you ever see George Pickens block? He just doesn't seem to fit the mold for somebody who paid $18 million a year.
I think a lot of that is predicated on hitting him in stride on slant patterns, and I haven't seen all that much of that this year, at least not as many as I did last year. He's a good yards after catch guy, and if you put the ball on the money like Kenny Pickett can do and will do, I think you're going to see numbers there. But the drops are a concern, Andrew. I mean, he works with tennis balls all the time. He's supposedly better at his hand-eye coordination. But I honestly thought that was a fumble the other day. I thought it was a catch and fumble.
It was. I thought the same thing.
They called it an incomplete, which means it's another drop.
I don't know why he said, I'm having a great year.
Yeah, that was weird.
So when you want paid, you cite your numbers and statistics. But when the numbers and statistics aren't there, you say, well, actually, that's not how you measure greatness. It's how you treat your teammates. Well, first of all, we don't even know if he treats his teammates well. Supposedly, he tried to fight the starting quarterback a couple of months ago, Bob. So I think if they could do it all over again, the Steelers would not have given Deontay Johnson that big contract extension.
The one thing they didn't do, they didn't break the bank with it in terms of some of these other guys you see around the league. So they gave him,
Well, he's not as good as those guys.
He's not,
that's why.
and that's why he got it. But at the same time, it seemed to make sense at the time based on production you've seen over the years. And you thought maybe his drops were over. And
who's a better receiver, Deontay Johnson or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Well, as far as possession, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, the guy never drops balls. He's a possession guy, and Patrick Mahomes is using him the same way as they did here, although he has more yards per catch than he did here. They're using him, double slant patterns, a deep slant pattern. You throw the ball and when third down, when you need a third down, he's going to give it for you. And I think they like that component of his game in Kansas City. They're using it the right way. But I agree. That Deontay Johnson contract is not looking good right now, and he needs to turn that around. The fact that he has no touchdown passes in 12 games is very, very stunning. And I would never bet that Connor Haywood would get his first ahead of Deontay Johnson, but that's what we've seen. Real quick, let's go out to who's on? Is it Blunder? Is that right, Hannah? Bundy. Okay, I can't read it. I thought it said Bundy. Go ahead. Make it quick, through.
Yeah, this is Bundy from Clymer, PA. I'm going to talk about quarterback rating. Kenny Pickett, preseason, what was his quarterback rating?
They all were good.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's your point?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then what is Kenny Pickett's quarterback rating for the last 4 games that he's played?
Yeah, but again, I think if you look at it, if you're looking at statistics right now for Kenny Pickett, you're looking at the wrong thing. I think you got to look at different ways, and we need to take a break. So we'll do that. We'll come back, Andrew, and talk about this because I think people just look at box scores and say, oh, he only had 190 yards passing. Not a good day. Well, look beyond those numbers, and you'll find a different story. At least I think. We'll have more next.